All right, you guys, we are started now. I'm super excited today about the guest that I have. But first of all, what I want to do is I want to invite you guys and welcome you into Green Room Antics. As you already know, Green Room Antics is the next part of Worship Afterisms. This is the space where we get a chance to do the raw, unedited, unfiltered part of Worship Afterisms. This is the space where we do a vibe check from our leaders and the musicians who make the music happen on the stage. But as I mentioned before, new vision has come along. This is not just a space for our leaders and our musicians that make the music that happen on Sunday, but it's also a space for those who live their life on the outside of the church. But it also gives us an opportunity to meet with other people to discuss what is happening in the conditions of the world, while also bridging the gap between the church and the world and giving us a chance to truly pursue those we were meant to pursue. I am so hyped, first of all, y'all, about the guest I have today. If you know who she is, I know who she is. Laura Noble. Oh my God. If you haven't seen her, if you haven't met her, first of all, absolute sweetheart, incredibly gifted, incredibly talented. But I want to give you a chance, opportunity to tell you guys about where I met her. I actually got a chance to meet her in a church arena. I was worship leading at a church here in Kansas City, and we have some mutual friends where she came to visit, and I got a chance to actually meet her. And I was like, yo, woman's ridiculous. She's crazy. But then I got a chance to go to watch one of her performances. Yo, and she's a vibe. She's a vibe. Today, she will get the opportunity to tell you guys a lot more about her music and all the things that she's done. But Laura, I want to invite you into our community and say welcome here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm like cheesy because this is humbling.
Come
Thank
on,
you.
come
Thank
on,
you. I appreciate it.
come on. Well, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your worship story.
Okay. Well, I was born in Dominican Republic.
Come on.
And then when I was little, my parents moved to New York. Well, we moved to New York, my older brother, my parents, and I, and for work. And anyway, my dad used to work for the church. So then he got an opportunity in Independence, Missouri. So we didn't know anybody. He prayed about it. We got a sign from God and said, okay, it's time to go. So we ended up in Independence, Missouri. But I want to say that was the beginning of, or as far back as I can remember in my life, where God was such a big part of my family's life, and where music was a big part, because my parents always had the radio on, and it wasn't just like, Christian music, but it was like Michael Bolton, Whitney Houston, Genesis. It was Boyz II Men, and we listened to all the music all the time.
Had all the vibes.
And so even though we obviously have like roots in Latin music and merengue, salsa, bachata, and all of that, my parents were just so good at like always keeping every kind of music around us. So I credit them for loving all genres of music. But yes, I always knew from a young age that God is real. And that is because my parents were really good at creating that foundation for my brothers and I. So I remember always praying before bed as a family, praying at the dinner table as a family. And, you go through a phase as a teenager where you kind of start to question things, or you don't feel like going to church.
Yeah.
It's like, well, God, if you're real, then where are you?
Show me where you at, God.
I'm waiting,
We get real arrogant with them.
Yes, I remember that. I remember sitting in a sanctuary by myself, like it was like some kind of youth activity. Everybody's outside, and I just remember sitting in the dark. I will never forget this, because now that you say arrogant, this really is what it sounds like. And I sat there and I was like, okay, God, I've been waiting for a sign to know that you're real. Now's the time for you to give it to me.
Crazy.
And I waited, and there's like silence.
Like he moves on our time.
Yeah, nothing. And I was like, okay, fine. But I would hear these stories from other people.
Yeah.
About, and I heard his voice, and here was the sign and all this. So I did go through a phase of just kind of being like, meh, I'm just going to church because my parents are making me. But as I grew into young adulthood and life started happening, and I became a young single mother, and because I had this whole plan for my life, like, this is how it's going to be. And that's nothing what it turned out to be like.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. So I did go on this journey of visiting different churches, because even though I had stopped going to church, I was like, God, I need you, and I
Yeah.
need you in my life, and
Yeah.
I need to be spiritually fed. I would listen to gospel music and Christian music, but I just felt like I needed to worship, you know.
I feel that, yeah.
So I visited a lot of different churches, but it was very rare that I felt connected in the churches.
Yeah.
And there were different things I would look for and didn't like and all that. But eventually I did land at a church that I felt, matter of fact, the same church that I met you at.
Come on.
Yes. But there's just something different about there that I would just, first of all, I feel welcome and at home there. Yeah. And fellowshipping is so easy, and the music was my favorite.
Come on.
Is
The
my
music
favorite.
is good.
And so there's this movement in me spiritually that I started to feel. But also along the way, it wasn't just in a church setting that I started to feel more connected to God.
Yeah.
I would say probably about 7 years ago, which happens to be the timing of when my music career really started to change as well.
Yeah.
I just started building this really close personal relationship with Heavenly Father, like having full-on conversations in the car.
Car conversations.
Or when you talk to God about, conversations in the car are real.
They hit,
like,
yeah.
You know? Or like, God, you did that thing, and I was just asking you about it, and then it happened.
Yeah.
You know, like that happened all the time, too, to the point where I would even just start laughing out loud.
Yeah.
That would probably look crazy. I'd be like, okay, I see you, God, okay. And things just started really changing for me.
Yeah.
I still went through life, still had struggles, but my level of gratitude was different.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, I used to pity myself more or run to God in prayer when I needed something.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, I'm really struggling. God, can you help me?
Yeah.
Whereas now I've surrendered to Him, and I feel like, I'm okay with whatever plan you have for me. So if this door is closed, I trust you have a better one to open for me.
Yeah.
So when I started doing that, I started praying more, being more specific in my prayer, being more intentional, writing things down.
Yeah.
Man, things just started falling into place. It was incredible.
Come on.
I actually have a funny story to tell about what's coming up here soon.
Okay.
I wrote a song for the World Cup 6 years ago called Love Ahora. And I want to give a shout out to Davi Foreman for producing that song. He's in LA. And a young lady named Lorraine, she helped co-write it.
Yeah.
By the time we were done with the song, because I just heard the track and I was like, ooh, I want to write to this.
Yeah.
By the time we're finished with the song, I said, this sounds like a World Cup song. A couple years after that, we found out they were coming to Kansas City as we were host city. So I said, okay, that's God setting this up for me.
Come on.
And then like 3 years ago, this gentleman who's actually booked me for like Boulevardia and Crossroads Music Festival, he said, hey, I'm on the committee for FIFA, and I'm trying to put your name in there. And I was like, okay, God, you really are making this happen, right?
Crazy. Now let's back up just a little bit, because I want our members, our people who are watching, because there are people outside of KC that don't necessarily understand what you're referring to. But right now in Kansas City, what is happening is craziness. It's craziness. There's a huge stage being set up at this very moment that is the FIFA Like Fest stage. So FIFA is being hosted in Kansas City this year, and right now the city is kind of in uproar and excited about the things that are happening. And what Laura is alluding to is the fact that she is going to be performing this year.
Yes.
Come on. and how God has set that up for her. And I'm excited about that. Come on.
Now I wasn't going to perform.
No.
This is the story.
Oh, come on, finish. We need the juice. We need the juice. Come on.
So I have a conversation. Matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to Amber Flutie Nastiness, who is a flute player.
Come on.
I was singing backup for her that day, and at the Plaza Art Fair.
Mm-hmm.
So this conversation happened backstage with this gentleman who said, "Hey, I want to, put your name out there for FIFA." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I've been working towards."
Yeah.
So then fast forward to just a few months ago, I get an email and they're asking me all these questions about, can you perform at FIFA? But we need these answers. So I right away send this email back. And then, time goes by and I'm like, okay, well, I haven't heard anything about a date or anything like that. So I'm just like, well, I'm sure I'll get something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, it's in the bag. I'm
Yeah,
reaching out to musicians already, like, hey, let's be ready.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just be completely transparent and honest about this.
Come on.
I am at a elementary school on behalf of my job, passing out flyers or something. Anyway, so I opened my phone because there was like some downtime, and I see they announce like the lineup, and I'm like, oh, well, I didn't hear anything about this. I look, and I'm like, I don't see my name on here. What's going on? And then I realized, like, I'm not in the lineup.
Yeah.
So I had to go to the bathroom and cried a little bit. And I was like really torn because think about it. I wrote a song.
Yeah.
6 years later, I'm thinking I'm actually going to be part of it. Like God set this all up for me. And I'm really disappointed and let down. I mean, it was like a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay.
Maybe God's not.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm confused. I'm starting to reach out to a couple of people that are close to me, and they're like, maybe try to do your own show. Maybe this. I'm getting all these different suggestions. And I thought, well, I don't want to impose. I don't want to like force anything, this and that. And there is a band that I perform with on the weekends at weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm also a weekend wedding singer in live bands. And I reached out to that they were performing for 4th of July, but it's a different version of them. And I reached out and I said, hey, to the owner, I said, I don't normally impose. I don't normally ask about these things. I said, but I have a song that I really want to do for the World Cup. And I explained the whole story to him, and he said, I wish you would speak up more often. Of course, we would love to have you on the show.
Come on.
So now hold on. Then after they confirm me in this show, I get a call that says, hey, some things changed around. Are you able to perform? Do a 1-hour set of your own music for FIFA. I went from 0 to 2 shows.
Ain't that FIFA. Crazy?
But let me tell you what happened before these situations happened.
Yeah, talk to me.
I was walking around bitter, upset, angry, crying. I didn't want to see anything that said FIFA on it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
That's
FIFA,
real. That's real. Yeah.
Whatever, World Cup, But actually, I started to really pray about it. I said, God, I don't like carrying anger in my heart.
Yeah.
I just can't. I said, so I'm going to go ahead and give this to you. And whatever it is that you have planned for me, if I'm supposed to learn from the situation, then I'm going to learn, and actually there's a gentleman in my life, I'm going to go ahead and credit him on this. He prayed with me a lot about the situation.
Come on.
And he's very encouraging through the whole thing. And after I just gave it to God and I said, you
got this.
Whatever it is that you want me to do, if this is not meant for me, there's a reason.
Yeah.
It was after that I started getting the calls that asked me to go ahead and perform. Yeah. So
isn't that crazy how God will? It's funny how God will set something up, let it look like it's a big miss, right? Let it feel like it's a big fail, it didn't happen, right? Just to see if we will let Him have it. Yeah. And I think that's important in our faith walk, even with our leaders in our community. Mm-hmm. I think it's important that you shared that story because I believe that there possibly is someone right now that is like, man, that felt like a big miss.
Yeah.
And God, you failed me, God. Like, what are you fumbled the ball. You had one job, Lord. Like we can tell God like what He has to do, right?
Like, how bad I thought you were setting it up for me.
Right. But then when you trust Him, He does something bigger than we expected.
And it's bigger than I expected.
Come on.
Yes. And
Come on.
and so many things are falling into place for this show that
Yeah.
I didn't expect to happen.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Come on.
It's going to be a great show.
Come on.
So I'm thankful.
Come on. I love that.
And just, I've had so many moments of those car conversations with God where I just start crying in gratitude. Like,
Yeah.
man, I just needed to trust you. Like, that's it. So
Yeah.
that's a part of my story. There's so much.
There's so much to your story. And I want to jump into more of that.
Yeah.
I honestly, so I'm going to rewind just a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember specifically in season 1 with our podcast, I'm getting started and I'm like, oh my God. And then I have Juliet Ford on and she makes this comment and it like blew up the internet at the time and it was perfect. And there were so many people who related to it.
Yes.
And then you inboxed me and you were like, oh my God, I can so relate to this.
Yes.
And this is crazy. And my response to you was post it. Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to chat about what you commented because I think it's very important to share with our community and the feels behind it. Actually, so Laura reached out and she had mentioned, she was like, you know, I can so relate to this, and I'll brief it. I can so relate to this because I had a season where I was with someone who was in faith and they wanted me to erase all of my music from the past.
Everything.
Right? And I responded to Laura and I was like, that's ridiculous because why would we erase our testimony?
That part.
Right? Why would we erase our testimony? I want a chance to kind of chat with you about that moment because if people were watching the comments, they got a chance to see the comment, but they didn't really get a chance to hear your voice. But now is the time. Let's talk about that a little bit. Why?
Yeah. So it was, you had posted on your story and it was that snippet. And I was like, oh man, yes, I can relate to this because I had just come out of that.
Okay.
And so, and it was new to me. I'm a very private person, so I don't normally talk about things, but when I do, I feel like it's because somebody needs to hear it. So I'm going to be real careful with how I talk about this.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a situation where the person, which this is very common in my life, is people come in being a fan and supporting, and then as things start to get serious, it becomes like a threat. So in this case, what I believe, and may not be true, but I believe, is that my faith or being a believer was used as a form of manipulation and control. And unfortunately, I have heard other stories about that in the past. And so because of that, you combine somebody who feels maybe threatened by what I'm doing in the industry, and they say, okay, well, if you really are a real believer and if you really are a Christian, you would get rid of all that because you need to represent yourself better. Okay, so I'm a big person on representing myself well. Now, have I, as a Latina woman, you know, shown off my curves on a few things?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm careful with my boundaries on how far I'll go. So it was so disappointing at that time because I wanted to, you know, there's a point of confusion where you're like, yeah, I want to honor God and I want to honor this person, but man, I worked so hard on all this, you know, and I can tell my story and people can see in real time, like how far I've come and how far I've evolved to where, you know, I don't know. I was convinced to delete a couple of music videos that weren't even bad. And I regret it. And I was so angry for a while after that. But the literal phrase that was told to me was, we need to scrub you off the internet.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I think that's so crazy because, and I want to put emphasis in this moment because as a Christian, we see how God progressively cleans us up, right? He progressively draws us closer, and he's never really concerned with what the past looks like. He always keeps the future in mind, right? But the one thing that I think even in our artist community, like for your music, and I'm sure people will start to research you and do all the things and they'll look you up and it's fine, right? they'll see things in the past,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But the word of God is very clear about we overcome by the blood of the lamb
Mm.
and the word of our testimonies,
That
right?
part, yeah.
So how can I overcome, and how can I truly be a witness if I show no testimony?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So my testimony is, yeah, you have to see that I went through that season. And that's what Joliet Ford was talking about at that
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yes, I created the song. She said her statement was very bold. She said, yes, I created the song about sex, and it's going to stay around, and I hope it stays around for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But that's the season in which I was in at that time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
However, if you follow me now, the evolution of where God had me then versus where I am now is completely
Yes.
different. And you really get to see true life change in what God really can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's so wild
Yeah.
that someone would say, we need to scrub you clean. It almost makes you look like a pretender when you show up, and unrelatable. Okay, let's talk about that. When you walk into a space,
Yeah.
right? And I think this is an issue that I hear from people who have issues with church.
Yeah.
It's like when you walk in, it's like, I don't feel like I fit in here because y'all all look so unreachable.
Mm.
Because why? A lot of people are scrubbing their past
Mm-hmm.
clean,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's no reference point. It's like,
You're so right.
what?
You are so right. Because you know, man, there's so much. I am in a season where I love to give advice and guidance, and I have a lot of younger artists reach out to me.
Come on.
And I've always wanted to help people out, even when I was first starting, even if I didn't have a clue, but I would still give encouragement. But anyway, now I'm in a space where I've experienced so much that I love helping and giving advice to younger artists who are up and coming. And so when, like, if, for example, they're at a crossroads or they don't know what road to go on, and I do give them some advice based on my own experience, but I always, always, always tell them, ask God about it too.
Come on.
And sometimes, even if they don't, have a strong relationship with God, if they're not a believer, whatever, the fact that they see a person who has done all these things saying this, they can say, oh, well, if she went to God about it, I can go to God about it.
Come on.
So he can use me still.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people think they see on the internet or what videos I've done or what songs I've written, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to always use him as a reference.
Yeah.
So I have had a fellow band member singer who one day was excited to tell me, hey, I just want you to know that I started praying again.
Come on.
And she doesn't come off as that type. I'd never heard her really talk about God or anything like that. But the fact that she was excited to tell me that she started praying again is like, that's the testimony. That's what you want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I do this. That's why I bring it up, you know? I don't know. Even if it's just a tiny little seed that's being planted, I'm going to always try to do that.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question that kind of revolves around that a little bit, though, because I love that I've gotten a chance to sit with some really incredible people and great leaders.
Yeah.
But there was a big pivot here recently within like the season and in my own personal life about how I feel and who should come and what God wants. And God has been actually speaking to me for a really long time about like this shift between the church and where he is, right? Where he actually is. And it's always been in this metaphor in the Bible where it's like he's leading Israel, and by night he's a fire, right? But by morning he's a cloud, and that cloud moves, and he says, whenever the cloud moves, follow me, right? And God was like, Chris, I'm a cloud. I'm moving from this place in which people think I actually am.
Yes.
I need you to follow me. And where it's landed me, honestly, is still not having a church home, right? And like dating churches and being around and still having this relationship with God. And I think what it's shown me is like, okay, great. God needs people on the outside too, right? And what you're sharing with us is like, hey, church, you may be judgmental of where I am in this space in which I am, but God is using me as a light in this space to help
Yes,
people.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what people need to reference.
Yes.
Right? However, I want to ask you, as time has progressed from the music that you have, and this is a two-part question, I want to know a little bit of the story behind your music, but I also want to know, what is God speaking to you today in reference to what your music should be in the future?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I do want to say also that I used to sing in praise and worship for
Come
a
on.
Baptist church, actually.
Come on.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Church.
And I loved it. And I love that season of my life.
Yeah.
I would say I started tapping in more into the music that I'm in love with now, and all the gospel and Christian music. But when I started writing songs, I just knew that I wanted to do mostly inspirational or positive, or I love love. So there's always going to be something about love,
Yeah. Come
on. But when I started to, so I'll rewind and say this, I would say about close to 7 years ago, I did partner with someone and create my own label. We created our own label. And I started off with Love Ahora, which is an inspirational, uniting song that I will be performing at the World Cup. And then I wrote, love songs, and then I wrote a motivational song. But as I started getting deeper into the industry and trying to catch what was going to go viral or what was going to make more money, it was more like, oh, well, we got to do Latin pop and we got to use these type of lyrics. And it started kind of crossing over into that line of the flirtatious and the pushing the boundaries. And then I would be sent examples of like videos on Instagram of like, you need to release a video like this, and it would be risque. And I'm like, that's not really my brand. Yeah. Or, hey, y'all, I'm not going to post stuff like that because I got kids and church folks that follow me, and I want to, I want to appease a certain crowd about, I'm not going to lie, the Latin industry can be very pushing the envelope when it comes to sexuality and sex appeal and all that stuff. But I just want to be really careful with how I portray myself. Yeah. So I would always make sure, like, okay, I want to do music that's more inspirational, motivational, and all that. But I have recorded a couple songs that are a little more on the flirtatious side, and some people are like, hey, that's my favorite song, or oh, it's so fun to dance to. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but I probably won't record another one like that. You know what I'm saying? I was testing the waters with everything
to see what happens.
Now fast forward, I'm just in a different season. I'm like, I don't think I have anything to prove, and God, I'm okay with whatever you have for me.
That's so good.
Yeah, I just don't. I was doing it to prove myself. I was doing it to see, like, oh, will this get me a bigger deal? A record deal. If I do this, maybe I can. But then there would be a certain thing that I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I have. Man, if I really told you my stories, we'd be here for hours. But the people close to me know that. First time I went to LA, I was so young and naive in my early 20s, and I was offered a very big opportunity with a very important gentleman in the industry. And he very bluntly told me what it would require. And I said, my parents raised me better than that, so that's a no.
Appreciate you, but no.
And it's, even when I look back, I'm like, dang, I was bold. But I didn't even think twice about it. And the gentleman told me, well, singers are a dime a dozen, and they always change their minds after they say no. And I said, I will be the first one that will not change their mind. And I didn't. And then later, all these things started coming out about all these things happening in the industry. And I said, God, you protected me.
That part.
Because so many things could have happened on that trip.
Yeah.
And I came home in one piece with no issues, so yeah, there are stories, but I'm just thankful. And when you become more mature and when you've done some things in the industry, fun or bumping your head or learning, um, you realize like what really is important.
Come on.
For me, it's my children,
Come on.
and being someone that they can look at and be proud of.
Come on.
And knowing that I didn't have to compromise myself or my morals or anything to be
To
where
do
I'm
that.
at. Yeah.
Come on.
Like, I don't know. I want to be the mom that they can be like, that's my mom, and they don't have to worry about like their friends finding anything
Yeah.
online or whatever.
Come on.
So, and we have to show grace to people who did have to bump their heads and
Yeah.
learn and now have a testimony.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
It is very much okay.
Yeah.
You're saying stuff so big. I think it's coming off very like just casual, but you're saying something so big. There are moments, and because this doesn't just happen in the industry of like R&B and pop and things like this. This happens within the Christian world. There's spaces and there's things in which, I got to be careful.
Yeah, don't be careful. Just say it all.
there are spaces even in the Christian community where compromise can be
I've heard.
very crazy. And the fact that you are sharing because and I bring this up on our podcast often, it is very easy to become famous as a worship leader now with the world of social media.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes the fame, you still have to have boundaries and morale. And you don't think that you may need to have that because it's like, I should be safe within and then you have conversations and it's like, right? But I think it's another thing that's really important. As you are in your journey, you should ask God first, right? Okay, God, like, what is this? What is this? And I think for you, what you were saying in your 20s is God very much protected you in your naivety, right? And I think so many people can look back and be like, man, I was naive in this spot and God kept his hand on me.
Yeah.
The fact that you can see it is a miracle, right? Yeah. Some people didn't even realize it was him.
Yeah.
They just thought it was a lost opportunity.
Exactly. Huh? Exactly. Yep.
So you're saying some stuff that's so big. Count the cost is what the word says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I do have friends that, I can appreciate them telling me their story. A producer who was in Atlanta who was so talented. And I just remember asking him, like, why'd you come back? Like, what's up? And he was like, I did not want to be in the same room as Satan.
One of them.
I
didn't want to be one of them.
I was like that? And he was like that. I did not want to be amongst the mess I was seeing.
Yeah.
And I would rather be home with my family. And I thought, okay. When I was younger, I remember hearing stories about people who would just choose I was going so hard for my music career before that I couldn't understand when people were like, oh yeah, no, I chose to stay home and just have a regular life or do music on the side or whatever. And I'd be like, man, but they had an opportunity. Like, why didn't they go?
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it because it can get really tricky out there. And I'm at peace.
Come on.
I'm okay.
I love it.
I feel really good. And again, my children, listen, my 12-year-old son right now, he got a full-blown studio.
Come on.
And he is making real music.
Come on.
Shout out to Anthony Saunders and Doriel Demps for setting him up.
Oh, way to freeze. First of all, Doriel, if you watching this, I absolutely love you, dog.
That's my bestie.
I love that man.
Yes. Set up my son and he took off.
Come on.
And, I just... I want to put my energy into giving him. We've already started having those conversations, and I want to thank his dad for also having those conversations with him about the importance of knowing who you are when you are in the same room as other people who are not like you, who are making different choices than you, and how to just keep the boundaries that you need to keep. So he's absorbing all of it and paying attention, but And my daughter, she's an artist. I got to give her a shout out. She did my hair.
Come on. Come on here.
And my oldest son, he's my biggest cheerleader. And I just appreciate them so much. I can't not say anything about my kids.
I love that. I love that. I think that's a perfect segue as we're wrapping up into our final question for you. And I'm going to loop it into two because I think they'll work hand in hand. Mm-hmm. The question that I was going to ask you is, via your testimony, what is the thing that you want the next generation to know that's important? But what is your worship afterism?
Oh man, that's such a deep question. Man, like if I could go back and talk to my younger self, just surrender, just trust God, because sometimes we want to trust ourselves and we think that we have to be at a certain point or hit a certain goal or have this many songs or have so many followers, which Jesus. Your identity is not in your following. Your identity is in God, because He has it all mapped out already. So trust that whatever it is that He has planned for you, that's what it's going to be. Jesus. And I wish I could have said that to my younger self when I thought the definition of success was going so hard and hitting all the avenues and doing this. And yes, it's good to have a good work ethic. It's good to, have goals set for yourself and working towards them. But at the end of the day, the more, in my opinion, the more I trusted and surrendered to God, the more things just went the way they're supposed to. And the more I'm at peace about it. Yeah.
Laura, you are ministering to me right now. So much so.
I'm glad.
I love that. And I can bear witness to that surrender, and I'll give just a quick, starting this podcast, there's been so many loopholes and so many hills and valleys that you have to overcome. And it's like, but God, I should be here already.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
Or, but God, you put me in these spaces where I got to have these really big opportunities, but then it feels like now they've forgotten. What is going on? And the thing that God has been showing me is surrender.
Yeah.
Whatever I have planned for you, I have already determined it.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how many stages you've been on. It doesn't matter what the platform is. It doesn't matter how many followers are showing up. If I want to snap my fingers in the middle of the night and give you 10,000 followers, I would.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all about what I want to do in you, right?
Yeah.
That God is showing me. And I
love
that's
that for
ministering
you,
to me.
You're doing so good. And every time you pop up in my feed, I'm like, oh, let me watch this, because it's so relatable.
Yeah.
And I want to hear everything that's said on every reel that you post. And it's so good. And it makes me want to go back and look for more. So you are doing an amazing job on this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love it.
Well, Laura, I have absolutely loved having you today.
Thank you for having me.
And what you've shared with our community, y'all, if y'all do not know Laura and you haven't looked up her stuff, please do. Please do. And go in with a huge open mind, because she is nothing but love and energy and beauty and culture. And if you get a chance and you're in Kansas City and you hear that she's performing, go support our artists, y'all.
I appreciate that.
Please go support her. She's doing some great things out here. And I'm so grateful for you sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you for letting me.
Come on. Now, I have a couple more things for you guys before we wrap up today. As I always say, there's things for you to do to get involved. If you're looking for ways to get involved that are monetary ways to help us out, we have a couple places in which you can look in our bio. One of them is the Cup of Love donation, where we get a chance to kind of celebrate our guests and give them beautiful gifts and things like that to thank them for coming. Also, the other thing that you can do if you want to rep the vision is check out our merch shop. I'm going to have more merch on there. Check out that merch. Get you something special. Rep the vision. Rep the words. Take it on. What is your worship afterism? Do all of that. Also, if you have something extra special that you can do, and you want to check out our Amazon wish list, and you can help us out there. There's other things, equipment, things like that we still need to keep this going. Check that out. And if you purchase it, do it. We love y'all. We need your help.
Do it.
But other things that aren't monetary ways to help us that will absolutely help us and help you get involved is first, what I want you to do is I want you to pause this video, jump over, hit the subscribe button to the YouTube page so that you don't miss any content. And then after that, the other things that help out. Listen, if this content has been helping you in any way and you heard something that absolutely impacted you, what I want you to do is like, share, and repost. There's a little button that has a little icon that shuffles that you can hit that reposts it, and it just kind of goes into oblivion, but it shares it with more people and you don't even see it. That helps out our community very much, and it also spreads the word, the things that you heard. So much. I love you for that. I want to thank you in advance for doing all those things. But until next time, as I always say, remember to use your aphorism one at a time to help someone else. Love y'all guys, and I'll see you later. Peace.